Hello there, Shortcuts. This is video 2 for Wednesday 29th of May. This is the classic rock and prog list. There you go. And box sets. 2 box sets, in fact. And some weird and wonderful classic rock packaging as well. I was trying to decide which box set to start with. I'm going to go with this one. Mothership, Led Zeppelin. This is the original box set from 2007. Now, it has been repressed a few times, and reading the forums, the represses are good, but they're not quite as good as this original box set, which is the one to get. Half speed remastered, 180 gram, full Jimmy Page supervised sessions. For those of you who, like me, maybe bought the CD back in the day, this was my introduction to Led Zeppelin. So there's the sleeve, the cover. And on the inside is, I've maintained this is from mine way back in the day. This is the outer sleeve that kind of sits over the back of the box, but it's been maintained. And on there you can see side 1, side 2. This is the ultimate Led Zeppelin compilation. 4 records, impeccably recorded, all the way from Good Times, Bad Times to All My Love, via Since I've Been Loving You and The Levee Breaks, Do You Make Her, No Quarter, House of the Holy, Kashmir, Nobody's Fault But Mine, In the Evening, and All My Love. It is the definitive box set. It also features this really nice booklet in beautiful condition. Story and photographs, some history of the songs. Really nice. And each of the 4 records from the box set were dedicated in the sleeves to the members. So Jimmy, very pensive looking Robert Plant, Bonzo, John Bonham, and finally my favourite Led Zeppelin member, John Paul Jones. This is also my favourite record of the 4. Listen to this. Since I've Been Loving You, Rock and Roll, Black Dog, When the Levee Breaks, Stairway to Heaven, and The Song Remains the Same. Immaculate condition, perfect nick. A really fun and beautiful box set. Yeah, it's great. 2007, the original pressing. Someone's going to enjoy that. This next one I like just as much. I have a copy of this that I opened myself, but a friend of mine has my copy, so I can't show it to you. But I do have a spare. This is a beautiful little thing. Look, it's seriously heavy though. The Rolling Stones singles from 1966 to 1971. I'm just going to read you a little bit of the little insert here on the front. I'll give you a sense of why this is a delightful thing. Limited edition box set. 18 7-inch singles pressed in heavyweight vinyl. Original packaging included. Coveted picture sleeves. Features Painted Black, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Street Fighting Man, Honky Tonk Woman, and Brown Sugar. And there's a really lovely book. It's about 30-40 pages. That is just a delightful read. There's a lot of love that's been put into this box. And then the other little surprise and delight feature is there's this little almost like an envelope, and inside the envelope are 5 postcards. Uh, and they're really, really cool postcards. Now, I am going to put a link on the emails that I'll send following up these videos to someone on YouTube who opens it and shows you exactly what's what. But excuse me, I'd recommend keeping it as a surprise. It weighs at least 3 kilos, 3 kilos. So there's a picture of all the goodies that come out the back of this, and some of the B-sides on these singles are really something else. The B-side on I think it's Painted Black is a song called Long Long While. I'd never heard before. It's really good. And then you've got some of their more classic B-sides like Lady Jane and others. But and the sound of these singles, just delightful. There you go. 2 box sets. How do you follow that? Well, I've got something fun to follow. When I was in Kurashiki in Japan, I found a record that I've had before. It's this band's, I think it's their 3rd album. Went to number 1. I remember reading a while back, I don't know if it's still true, that it was their only number 1 album in the UK. I find that hard to believe, but that's what it said. It is Seven and the Ragged Tiger, the 3rd album by Duran. Now, this is the record that's got the Reflex, Union of the Snake, some of their bigger hits. There's the insert. Now, why have I pulled this forward? Well, because, and there's the record's immaculate. The reason is this. In the package was this book. Now, I can find little or no information about this book. It says, you see here, not for sale, promotion copy. So I suspect that this was a promo idea for the record company to their employees. That's what I suspect. Because I can't see anything on the record. And what it is, and you can see here, it's got the Japanese matrix number of the record. So I think it was only released in Japan. On the inside back sleeve, it's got their full discography. And then at the front, it has a calendar. And you've got initially, wake up, you, and make the best of your time. So you've got from April 1984, green leaves and cool air wait for you out there. Throw away the blues and make friends with Really Des. All the way through to the end of the year. So it goes from April through to December. I gotta assume the record was released in April. And then it becomes a notebook, like a school journal. Small, a few, somewhat little, and everywhere through it are these little notes. Cold, chilly, cool, bleak, freezing. Right, upright, truthful, honest, righteous. Wrong, mistaken, erroneous, false, fallacious, phony, and bogus. Everything being opposites. Such a bizarre thing. Yeah. If anyone finds out any more information about that, please let me know. All right. This is one of the more controversial Pink Floyd releases. This was released as a kind of counterpoint to the final cut in, what was it, 82 or 83. This was Pink Floyd Works, a compilation that went all the way from One of These Days and Arnold Lane, their kind of debut singles, through Brain Damage, Eclipse, kind of classics from Dark Side of the Moon, to See Emily Play. But most infamously, the final song is Embryo, which became And still, well, we'll see when Dave Gilmour tours later on this year. We'll see whether he still plays it live. But Embryo became like a live staple. This is the Japanese first press. The band were not impressed and asked for that record to be withdrawn because they hadn't given approval for Embryo to be used on the record. So it became a little bit of a hot topic. The first time I've ever seen it as a Japanese press. So there you go. All right. What about this? Alice Cooper's Muscle of Love. The last album by, I guess, what you might call the classic Alice Cooper band lineup. But also with the most bizarre packaging. So this is the Japanese first press. So it was designed to come in the cardboard box with the stain on the bottom. Phonograph record. Do not bend, avoid excessive heat. 1973, Alice Cooper's Muscle of Love. And when you open up the inside, of course you get the kind of wraparound booklet and the nude wrestling sleeve, which became, and there's the aftermath of the wrestling, kind of became what a lot of people consider to be the sleeve because the cardboard boxes would get lost. But this is kind of like the wraparound insert, everything pleasant, present and correct. Alice Cooper and Michael Bruce, Glenn Buxton and the boys. Muscle of Love got interesting reviews when it was released. These early 70s Alice Cooper records are better than you might anticipate. I can understand why people really like them, and this packaging is really fun and interesting. So there you go, the Japanese pressing of Alice Cooper's Muscle and Love in a cardboard box. Now this one's still sealed. Was it fifth or sixth record? This is the original Mo-Fi master recording of Dire Straits' Communique. Now this came out in 2019 to great acclaim. Of course, Mo-Fi got themselves into diffs subsequent to that because they used a 256 digital step, which caused all sorts of controversy. The final kind of arbiter of these things are your ears. And I've been lucky enough to have been gifted a Mo-Fi Dire Straits record from someone in this group. Thank you, Stuart. You know who you are. And it's incredible. Like, I can only trust my ears. This thing sounds ridiculous. In this case, it was Love Over Gold, which is probably the one Dire Straits record that I like. I'm not a big fan, and I'm not a big fan of Communique, but by all accounts, this is a wonderful pressing, still sealed. It'll go way below market value, so someone out there will love it. And thank you again, Stuart. All right, a few more to go. Everyone knows I love this band. This is the German prog / hard rock band called Jane, which is an awful name, but it is what it is. This is their debut album. This is their rawest, hardest rocking. I'm not even sure that this qualifies as prog. This is definitely more hard rock and grooves. Like everything on the Brain label, it's immaculately recorded. This Japanese pressing is incredible. Second track on side one, Wind, is my personal favorite. It's a belter. Love the whole thing. Love Jane. All right. Few interesting ones to go. This is the Japanese first press of Mental Notes by Split Enz. One of the great New Zealand bands of all time. And in this debut album, they kind of popped out fully formed. They were like a mix of, I don't, not quite the vocals, but the frenetic kind of pace and all over the map kind of idea behind the production reminds me of Sparks. So they're a really quirky, interesting band, and this debut album is a really fun listen, and it's kind of amazing to think where they all ended up from this kind of new wave, sparksy place that they began. The sleeve was painted by, is it Michael Judd, or can't remember, one of the band members, who was really a creative force. And you might think that the Finn brothers were where it was all at, but not the case. And my favorite factoid of that record is it is produced by Phil Manzanera, legendary guitarist from Roxy Music. How they pulled that off, I don't know. But yeah, I was quite delighted when I found that. I found that one in Kyoto. So there you go. Some Split Enz fans out there might be happy with that. Couple more to go. Early Whitesnake with Obi. This is Come and Get It. Come and Get It held off the number one spot in the UK by Kings of the Wild Frontier by the mighty Adam Ant. I have 3 records to go. I'm going to save the cheesiest for the end. And I think oh my gosh, probably the best of the 3, it's close. In terms of rock blues, Rory Gallagher is an Irish legend. He toured 1974, just in the midst of a terrible spate of atrocities in my home country of Ireland, playing sweaty, incredible guitar blues. I love this Japanese pressing. This is the one I have. It's absolutely fantastic. Easily Ireland's greatest blues musician, in his plaid shirts and his, kind of everything about him seems off, except for the music, which is truly stellar. Because he was going into places that were pretty dangerous, he couldn't ensure the sound unit. So some tracks sound absolutely unbelievable. Some sound a little bit different because they couldn't afford to have the I guess whatever, how many tracks, 12 track truck in each of the venues. I think they recorded it in Belfast, Dublin, and Cork. And I'm going to make a guess that it was the event in Belfast that wasn't recorded as well as the others. Second last record in tonight's list is the Japanese first press of Hard Promises, which I think is the second best of the kind of first suite of Tom Petty records behind Damn the Torpedoes. Some people think this one's even better than Damn the Torpedoes. Stevie Nicks puts in an appearance on The Insider. It's beautifully recorded, sounds stellar on the Japanese press. And then finally, this is Billy Idol's debut album, Japanese first press with Obi. A bit of White Wedding, part 1. A bit of Hot in the City. I don't know. He came out, he's at 1982. Imagine, look at this. He's still doing it today. Still playing live shows. Still killing it. Looks incredible. There you go. What a diverse list. Some box sets from the Stones and Zepp. Some Jane and some quirky Pink Floyd, Billy Idol, Rory Gallagher, Duran. Gotta love it. If you'd like to see the price list, it'll come out Sydney time, 9 p.m. on Wednesday. Drop me an email, shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. And thank you for watching.